People shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Hey, Sweeney's Christie movie box office scores one of the worst openings in all film history. If you didn't know, Sydney Sweeney is the darling child of MAGA and the right now, in large part due to the fact that they are quite obsessed with her physical form, as I'm sure most people who enjoy beautiful people are, but they've taken that to strange new heights, where they've tried to kind of turn her into their Aryan princess, helped in no small part due to the fact that Sydney Sweeney recently did an American Eagle jeans ad, where she referred to having genetically perfect genes. Jeans. That was the joke. Get it? Jeans. I have perfect genes, and it's because of blue jeans. It's silly. And then a lot of people were like, that's kind of fucked up in 2025 to you know, as a white person, be talking about how you're genetically superior because of your, again, genes. Even if it's a joke, that's still a really fucked up, weird joke to make. And again, the modern age kind of just seems a little bit eugenics-y. Not exactly something that most people would be into. But then a lot of people went to her defense on both sides, by the way. There were, I guess, a lot of really core Sydney Sweeney fans who were like, she wasn't the one who designed it. It's not her fault. You know, she was just taking a paycheck at the end of the day. She doesn't really care about that. And then very recently, she did an interview where she was actually given an opportunity to clarify her stance on the whole thing. And to the surprise of no one, she decided that she doesn't want to talk about it.
Alrighty, so Sydney Sweeney, who of course has made an incredible number of headlines over the course of the last...
Of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
Which the right loved. Oh, did they love it? Oh, it's just so amazing. I saw all these right-wingers posting immediately, cancel culture is dead. That's how you do it. When you're along and you're faced off with a fucking woke-ass feminist who's going to stare you in the eyes and try to get you to apologize, you double down. All that kind of stuff. And then it was like, I guess none of y'all watched the whole interview. If you do, you'll realize that that person was not some woke feminist trying to grill her. She was just gushing over Sydney Sweeney the entire time. It was just like, it was just a jeans ad. I know. And then I was like, oh, but you look so good in the jeans. Oh, thank you. It's like, it's crazy. The president, Donald Trump, he ended up retruthing you. I know. That was surreal. So the whole thing is not her really holding her feet to the fire. But that didn't save the interviewer, by the way. The interviewer obviously had to deal with the fallout as well from all the right people being like, this is yet another woke lib trying to destroy our Aryan princess.
By the way, handled beautifully. Just take the gas right out of the tank.
Exactly.
But my favorite part of that clip is you can see there's a point when you're on camera. Okay, I spent a lot of time on camera. And so it is very, very difficult to hide your emotions. Now, yes, she's an actress, but there's something genuine about Sydney Sweeney, which is probably why she's a pretty good actress. And there's a point where you can see her eyes narrow and her annoyance just leap out of her pupils.
So here's the thing. That wasn't a gotcha. It's not a gotcha question. She could very easily have used that as an opportunity to, again, even if you yourself were not a white supremacist, or even if you yourself were, hey, I happen to be from a MAGA family, I want to support, you know, the right, that kind of stuff, you can understand the political calculation that coming out, especially in the eyes of the world right now as it is, as someone who actually is on the side of white supremacy, would be really bad for your career. So I would assume most people would just think, well, I mean, if you're asked the question, hey, do you condemn white supremacy? Even if you don't, a very simple political answer could be something along the lines of, I have always proudly condemned all forms of white supremacy, such as Nazis and the KKK, and I don't think that anyone truly believes that that was the intent that I had when I originally did this ad. Something like that. Very diplomatic. It's not even an apology. You're not saying I'm sorry to people who were offended at the fact that I was saying as a white person that I might be racially superior to you or something like that. Or it was just a joke and a lot of people just took it the wrong way. That was never my intent. Any of that. Even that would have been something, right? Like, oh, it's just a joke. I in no way was trying to suggest that I am genetically superior to other people because I'm white. It was genes, like genes you wear on your. Oh, then the host would have been like, that's silly, that's wild, cool stuff. But yeah, the right absolutely loved it. I think Turb did a good little compilation at the very start of this video. Hold on. Oh wait, I want to see what Asmongold had to say. He was probably very proud.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
It's all about this jeans ad from a few months back.
Right.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
A very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal. I would probably feel like thankful that somebody had my back.
See, even that part is not something you could really interpret as someone being like, oh, I'm into white supremacy. This is the white power hour now or something like that, right? You're just like, what was it like when the president of the United States, you know, this person who is a serial rapist pedophile and ushering in an age of fascist dictatorship in the United States right now, when they actually talked about you, you could be like, it was bizarre, honestly, or like, at this moment, you know, it was kind of weird that, you know, he decided to insert himself. I didn't think he'd ever talk about a jeans ad, but instead it's just like, it was surreal. Yeah.
In public, some very powerful people had my back in public, and I wondered if you felt that way.
So she's trying to like make her implicitly align herself with Trump so she can make her look bad.
I wasn't thinking of it like that, or like of any of it. I kind of just put my phone away. I was filming every day. I don't really bring my phone on set. I work and then I go home and I go to sleep.
Yeah, I'm not thinking about like, oh, does the president agree with me about this ad that 15 fat women on Twitter are mad about?
But the risk is that, you know,
you're trying not to have a political opinion, but I want to reiterate the fact that I'm going to just keep asking you leading questions that I'm going to use to imply what your political opinions are. The next one here is, do you...
And again, if you watch the interview, the interviewer was not there grilling her, was not there, like, it was a gushing profile. It was just like, you look so good in that ad. Oh, thank you. And it's about jeans. I know it's about jeans. It's about like the jeans we wear. I know. She's like, I love jeans. I'm wearing jeans right now. And you look great in them. Like, it was not basically like, as a feminist, I have to say that we, as white women, should really be taking a stance against anything that could be perceived at this moment in time to be upholding or advocating for white supremacy. What do you say to this, Madam Sweeney? No. It was honestly, but it doesn't matter. Now she's public enemy number one on the right. They're all very, very mad at her. So you've all seen the clip. You've all seen the stuff. They're all mad. Sorry, the writer's super excited about her. She stood on business in a recent interview. You know, Matt Walsh, fucking Tim Pool, Steven Crowder, all of them being like, this is how you do it. You don't apologize to the woke mob, etc.
we're sort of talking around this American Eagle ad right now, and maybe we should just talk about it. So, were you surprised by the reaction?
Y'all, after this interview I just watched, I am convinced that Sydney Sweeney is a MAGA Republican and no one can convince me otherwise.
I did a jean ad. I mean, the reaction definitely was a surprise, but
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans, and I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn, or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney has very keen.
You see what I did there, right?
Quick, someone explain to me how a woman with lip filler is making an ad about having really great jeans. So your jeans are blue, but you tried to make those lips black.
I love jeans. All I wear are jeans. I'm literally in jeans and a t-shirt like every day of my life.
Jeans are uncontroversial. Jeans are awesome.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like, that's the actual interview, even though the interviewer is being, like, you know, dragged by the right now. She's like, jeans are uncontroversial. They're awesome. I like your jeans. I know. I'm like, no, it was very, very softball, which is why I keep saying this moment is kind of telling, especially in the middle of everything that's going on, that Sydney Sweeney decided, when asked promptly, like, here's your opportunity right now, even from a political position, or I would say, you know, what an agent would recommend to you, to be able to distance yourself from the far right, who have now associated you with their eugenics project and their whole racial superiority fucking Nazi shit. You can distance. It's a gift. I'll lowball this one, right? There are people who have said that in 2025 it's kind of unusual, or maybe even bad, for white women to be talking about how they have genetic superiority. What do you have to say to people like that? Again, do you disavow white supremacy very easy. You don't have to say, like, you don't have to isolate clearly the right-wing fans or the MAGA fans. You don't have to say, I condemn Trump, I condemn MAGA, I do never want to be associated with that. But instead, you decided, I'm not going to answer that at all. It's just like, when I have an opinion that I want people to know about, they'll know it. And it's like, oh, goddamn. All right. So you're also opening and leaving the door completely open for the far right to be able to keep treating you as their Aryan princess of choice for right now. They lost Taylor Swift, so now they can move on to Sydney Sweeney.
I like your jeans.
You look great in your jeans.
Interviews have genuinely lost their meaning. Because what do you mean that the whole time the interviewer is asking Sydney Sweeney about the American Eagle campaign and her thoughts on the whole genetic superiority thing, she's just giggling and laughing and blushing like this is a first date or something.
The president tweeted about the jeans ad, or Truth Socialed about the jeans ad, and that just seems to me like a very crazy moment for anyone, and I wondered what that was like.
It was surreal.
It was surreal.
I have a dream. Hi, Aryans. Hi, Aryans.
Get a little compilation put together by Turb. Go check out Turb's second channel. Oh, I'm not even subscribed to his second channel. Shame on me. But here's the link to Turb. He does really good work. Has a lot of really good videos. Well worth your time. That brings me to the weekend, where Sydney Sweeney, if you didn't know, has been working really, really hard on her first big Oscar project. She had been transforming herself in order to portray a woman athlete, a famous woman athlete, a historical figure. She apparently gained 50 pounds. She learned how to professionally box. And because she wanted to have realistic, actual contact in the film, they were actually in some parts of the movie hitting each other, causing some injuries. So she did what you're supposed to do when you go for Oscars, right? You sacrifice, all right? Like, you look at all the big winners of Oscars at one point or another. Even Leo, all right? He was apparently a vegetarian who had to eat a raw liver, all right? In The Revenant, he was like, I'll do whatever it takes. I'll sacrifice the body. I'll bite right into this goddamn heart. I don't give a shit. Just give me that goddamn Oscar, all right? That's what actors do. They go method. They really, really do everything in their power. And the movie came out, and to the surprise of no one, actually, it's one of the biggest flops in all of cinema history. Sydney Sweeney's Christie movie box office scores one of the worst openings in all film history. The biographical sports drama feature Christie, which stars Sydney Sweeney as the former professional boxer Christy Martin, has performed poorly in its opening weekend at the domestic box office. It now could potentially become another 2025 box office disappointment for anyone. But to actress, notably Christie, received mixed positive reviews from critics and currently holds 67%. That's still kind of high on Rotten Tomatoes. Christie has taken $1.3 million at the domestic box office, and that's for a film released in over 2,000 theaters per Box Office Mojo. That means that the movie had one of the worst box office openings in history. Great job. This also means that Christie is likely to continue Sweeney's disappointing theatrical streak in 2025. It is her third movie in 2025 to score below $2 million at the box office, her third flop in a row, after Americana and Eden. Americana originally had its world premiere at South by Southwest before releasing in theaters on August 15th. It made around $500,000 this opening weekend. Eden premiered in the 2024 Toronto International Film Festival before being released theatrically. It grossed around $1 million its first weekend. So flop after flop after flop. But this one, a film that was wide released in over 2,000 theaters, to flop this badly is an absolute career disaster. Now, this one is unfortunate for Christy Martin, the real athlete whose story should be told properly, and I think more people should read about and learn, because it is a fascinating story of a woman who suffered immensely for her craft and, wanting to perform in a male-dominated sport, to climb the ranks, and had to suffer through years of domestic violence and abuse at the hands of her then husband, who she eventually got out of that relationship with. She was, in a relationship with a man, despite the fact that she is a lesbian, and eventually did marry the love of her life, and, has a relatively happy ending in light of everything horrifying that had happened to her. But her story does deserve to be told, and people do deserve to watch it. And guess what? Most people who probably would have wanted to watch this just don't want to fuck with the whole white supremacist shit. So that's why I'm just so confused. Who exactly is Sydney Sweeney's manager or agent? Who is telling her, yeah, you should go do an interview? And if you get the question, which you can be asked, they could even frame it in that, like, hey, by the way, could you ask Sydney Sweeney a question that'll allow her to basically lower the temperature on a lot of people are saying right now that she might be a racist, right? Why don't you give her an opportunity to basically disavow that while not alienating the Republicans and the MAGA base who love her? You can do that. It's super easy to do. You can be like, look, I'm not really into politics. I don't support the Democrats or the Republicans, but I can honestly say I certainly don't, support eugenics. And anyone who's been saying that about me, it's just categorically false. So I just did that improv. Didn't need a writer. Didn't need anything. I'm not an actor. I don't know how to do the things that the really top tier actors do. So it's not that hard to pull off. You could have easily done that. And going into this movie, did you expect the chuds to support you through this? Did you think that they were ever going to pay cash to go watch a movie about a strong woman athlete who's LGBTQ plus in addition to all of that? Do you think that's in their wheelhouse? Like, they're barely willing to watch Euphoria. And that thing is pretty much like porn. But none of them have seen it. Because again, it stars too many people that they hate. It stars a black woman and a trans woman. How did you get famous off a show starring a black woman and a trans woman? I would argue some of the most famous in both their categories. That a lot of people are now astounded. Why are you becoming this Aryan princess shit in the middle of all this? What is wrong with you? What the fuck is going on? Why would you do this to yourself? How long do you expect this to carry on for? Like, where it's just basically like, well, she's really towing the line. We're not sure if she's actually into the whole white power shit, but she's also not saying she's not. So, keep the whole thing at arm's length. Again, I don't know what to say outside of, this is eventually going to happen, Apparently Zendaya is refusing to want to do any kind of like press tours for the new season of Euphoria with her for good reason. If I was Zendaya, I would keep myself a million miles away from fucking Sydney Sweeney right now, because what the fuck? And honestly, one is unbelievably talented, is capable of both acting and singing, is like a generational talent, is beloved by everybody. Also, Zendaya is pro-Palestine, I might add, so, I can't say enough good stuff about her. Same thing with Hunter Schafer, by the way. Hunter Schafer, she's unbelievably talented. She's she's not only pro-Palestine, but has actually been in, pro-Palestine protests and stuff like that. These are lefty famous people who I'm sure at this point are kind of just like, why is the other big co-star that came out of the series Euphoria being such a massive piece of shit? But yeah, I mean, keep it up, because again, the very people who seem to adore you right now, specifically just because they A, find you hot, and B, think that you are taking down the woke and the cancel culture, they're also not interested in watching you or paying for your films. Again, these are very vile, terrible people who are filled with hate, and honestly, they only see women based on their value that is intrinsically locked into their looks. So they don't really care about the art. It looks like, at the end of the day. Shapiro's Gina Carano movie. Well, I was like, yeah, I guess eventually you can basically hope for the right-wing film circuit. It's worked out really good for Kevin Sorbo and Gina Carano. Keep on doing that. Definitely take it, Somebody tells me they don't really care about women's sports as much as they scream about it, even with their princess at the helm. No, they don't. They absolutely don't. You can tell because the same people have spent all fucking the past 5 or 6 years being like, women in sports, I care about women's sports. They're the same people who are posting memes about people throwing dildos onto WNBA games because they don't care. They're willing to dehumanize women. They don't care about their ability to perform as athletes. They're constantly mocking them and making fun of them, but they're also the exact same crowd who are going to tell you that they care so much about women's sports that they have to make sure that they control them, because the whole thing ultimately is about controlling women.
Stop, thank you so much to our patrons for making this show possible. We could not fund it without you, and if you want to join, please check out patreon.com/theserfs to unlock bonus episodes, uncensored content, and all the good stuff. Thanks to Anna Loves Riley, Addercap, Bobby Lasers, Cheryl Alvarez, Comrade Junkie, Doug Caddy, Everything Important, Hegbard Salim, Multimondi, Omni, Political Papi, Preston Kroll, Quiet One 85, Riley and Anna, Roller Dragon, Cernicus, Stellar Gwyn, Sebastian Demmel, Tigwick, and Words Greenwood.